I would share with you today about some of the problems or the issues that you may want to look at as far as pricing when you're a creative entrepreneur. So, some of the things that are a real issue is we don't think about this, especially as we go. And I've been in business for quite a while, but when it comes to custom illustration or using your talent and expertise to create projects, a lot of times as creative entrepreneurs, we undervalue or underestimate our size. So here's what happened. I had a logo design to do this month, and it did not go well. Or last month, it did not go well. The client came in, and the way that I've always done my logo designs, because very often, there's a whole structure of you're supposed to, so much for the project, so much for the rights, so much for this. If you read any of the pricing books for creative entrepreneurs, a lot of times that's what they tell you to do. That is not real world. Unless you're dealing with somebody like a Nike or somebody like that, most of us, the kind of companies we deal with, especially myself, because I deal with a lot of small businesses, small entrepreneurs, those kind of things, they don't understand that, and the rights may not go anywhere. They'll be lucky to be in business a couple of years down the road, depending on who they are. So you're not going to get the rights deals. And a lot of my illustrator friends are the same way, where they don't always get what they think. They know they should be charging for rights, and they know you should be charging for this, but a lot of that time it doesn't happen when unless you're a famous creative entrepreneur or working with very large companies, which a lot of us are not. So I've always priced my illustration work. I've got my pricing set, because I am a terrible pricer. I don't price well, because I just like to help people, and I always give people deals, and that's a whole other story we won't worry about today. But what happens is that it does actually start affecting you as far as profits go and as far as your time. And we've been doing okay. I kind of have a rough idea how much a logo design will work. I've got my rights, if you will, all built in. So the customer pays one price for the logo design, and they get it all fully vectorized in the way they want it. And let's go. Well, here's what happened with a recent logo design that I had. The logo design did not work well. The customer, so I've got different stages. I've got the sketch stage, drawing stage, all of those kind of stages built in, and the customer approves each one of those stages. So I had a customer who wanted a logo design. We approved all the stages. We've gotten all the way through. This customer changed a few things. Each stage usually has about two changes with it, which is fine. We changed it according to the customer. At the very end, just when I sent them the final proof after we've done about 5 or 6 revisions, customer says, I want to go back to stage 1 and redraw something different. Now, the way I've done my logo design is people pay up front, because as a creative entrepreneur, that's something you really need to think about, is will you get payment? And a lot of times I find with illustration, people think it's like a Walmart where they just go and they look at color and they come back. But for illustrators, we've done all of our work. There's a lot of time put into making the drawings and all those kind of things. And so we've now, that's work that you will never get back. So I, for myself, first of all, take all payments up front, or at least a certain amount of the project up front. And at that point, then you start the project. So we've got a whole system in place for that. So you'll have to decide that for yourself. But then we also need to think about what are the people that are getting illustration. We have to build in those changes, but at what point do you have to say enough is enough? And I had the client come back. They came back. They said, well, we want something different. At that point, I said, well, for me to redraw something different, I'm willing to do that, but I'm going to have to charge you, because we've already gone all the way through this certain logo. You've approved everything. You've liked it all the way up to the end here, and now you're changing your mind. And since then, I have not heard from the client. I've been trying to leave them voicemails and emails, and they decided not to answer their phone. So we'll see what happens with this one. But I wanted to just tell you that you need to think about your pricing. So I've had to revise our pricing for this. And what we're doing now is we're going to have to look at incorporating a certain amount for each stage and go all the way through. And then at each stage, the person will have to, if they decide to change in a different direction, we will kind of start again. But we're going to build our logo designs, which is going to increase the price, because I've been ballparking it for a lot of logos, and it's been working pretty well. But the problem is you don't know the person. You don't know if they actually have it in their mind. They say they do, but then you find out that they don't actually know what they're looking for. And that of course, causes problems when you're doing custom illustration because you've already done it. You can't change it. So